Hello, Convention of States Action volunteers. I'm Steve Patton. This video demonstrates how to use the COSAction app to make Telepatriot calls on iPhones. If you don't already have the COSAction app installed, pause this video and download it from iTunes. Then open the app and log in with the same information you would when logging into the Convention of States system at conventionofstates.com. Once you have the COSAction app installed, click its icon to start. The app starts on your National News tab. On the bottom toolbar, click Telepatriot. If you do not see Telepatriot as an option, you are not yet assigned to that volunteer role. Please simply reach out to a member of your state team and ask to be assigned as a Telepatriot. The screen opens to the Telepatriot Teams tab. Telepatriot is a tool that a team of volunteers uses to call a list of supporters. The whole process is called a mission. Each mission has a specific purpose, such as to invite supporters to an event or ask supporters to contact their legislators. If you are asked to make Telepatriot calls, your state leaders will assign you to a calling team, and you will see that team's name on this page. I've been on several teams, so you'll see a number of teams listed on this page. For this training video, I'm going to demonstrate making calls as part of the MDTP training team. So let's click on its name. The next screen shows the name and phone number of a person to call, along with some other supporting information. This is the first of several screens in a sequence of screens involved in making each call. You'll start at this screen for every person you call and return to it every time you complete a call. It will always display the name of the next person to call. All right, so what are you seeing on the screen? The very top line of this screen is the name of your calling team. The name of the mission is below that, followed by a progress bar, and then a short description of the mission. The progress bar shows how many calls have been made compared to the total number of calls that need to be made for this mission. It reflects the work of the entire calling team, not just your own. For this training mission, you can see we have made 0 calls of 3 potential. If this were a real mission, the number of calls made and the number of calls to be made would be very different than 0 and 3. Next, below the progress bar, you will see 3 dots. And when clicked, you can access the script or bulleted talking points you will be using when you make a call. Notice that you will need to click the 3 dots to display the script. And if you click the 3 dots again, the script will go away. We're going to leave the script open at this point. So the very last item on the screen is the name of the person you will call and their phone number. If for any reason you don't want to call this particular person, just click the skip button. The next name in the calling list will come up. The name you skipped will go back into the calling queue for someone else to call. When you are ready to make the call, just click the button with the person's phone number and the phone will take over. At this point, I need to explain a few things and then we'll be ready to make some calls. First, when you start a call, your phone changes to its usual phone calling screen. You'll need to navigate back to the COSAction app so you can refer to the calling script. Second, this particular training mission allows the user to make calls to 3 fake supporters in Maryland. These supporters were created solely for training purposes. They all have the same phone number, but different email addresses. The phone number and the emails are real and go to destination set up specifically for the training. Third, I'm making this video with Zoom, and Zoom mutes itself when a call starts. So once I start demonstrating a call, you won't hear anything on this video until I end the call and I will begin narrating again. Okay, here we go. Let's give this a try. I'll hit the button with the first person's phone number and the call will begin. Just watch what happens on screen and I'll resume the narration when the call ends. Okay, so I made the call. You can see how I navigated back once I initiated the call and the phone took over. I then navigated back to the COSAction app where I was able to access the script or talking points or whatever the messaging is that you will be asked to be speaking to and about with the person you're calling. I then ended the call. I navigated back to the phone when I was done speaking with the person and I ended the call. The COSAction, I navigated at ending the call, I navigated back to the COSAction app and you'll see this is the screen that we get. We get the call result screen. All right, so what did you actually see happen when I tapped the phone number? It was the phone switched to its normal calling screen. I navigated back to the COSAction app. I referred to the script and talked to the person. I navigated back to the phone app, hung up the phone, navigated back to the COSAction app, and that's how we ended up at the call results page. The call results page is the first of several where you will report the outcome of the call. The first page asks you to indicate the results of the call. Since this is a training mission, I will select no answer as the result. Doing that tells Telepatriot to return that person to the calling queue and keeps all the training mission people available to be called over and over for training purposes. When you make real calls, just select the actual result of the call. No answer, wrong number, number disconnected, voicemail box full or not set up, call dropped, redial, voicemail, spoke on the phone, three-way call, sent text, answered, call later. So those are your options. Like I said, for training, we're just going to select no answer at this time. After you select a call result, the next screen asks you to enter a note about the call. And this will be the case whatever you select, not just no answer, but anything. This is what you'll see here, the call summary screen. In some missions, a preformed note is available. It's just one or several canned notes written when the mission was created. If a call was totally routine, click the preformed note link, select the note you want, and click Apply Note. If you don't want to use the preformed note, just start typing and that option disappears. So let's take a look. We're going to go into the preformed and you'll see you will have different options here because this is a training mission. You'll see this is an example of a canned note and you'll have a choice to pick these. If you don't want to use those or you do pick one of the preformed, you can then add to your preformed note or you can just put a note in here and if you start typing, you will see the preformed option goes away. And that is how you would make a note on the call summary screen. If the call was totally routine, if the call was not totally routine, write a clear note that the state team can use after the mission finishes to understand the details of the call. Okay, we also have the option of selecting tags. Most missions you will be able to select tags, but not all missions. Tags are used by the state team to identify groups of people by how they responded to the call. If the option to assign tags is available, use it. All right, so let's click on Assign Tags. Maryland test tag, maybe. Maryland test tag, no. Maryland test tag, yes. So these will be, there's no option to put a note in here. This is applying a tag to the contact pertaining to this particular call. So if they always check the tags, if any of the tags, address the call, you definitely want to use a tag. All right, so let's go back to call summary. Let's see what happens if let's just pick the maybe. You'll see it gets a check mark and we'll hit done. It's going to come back and you'll see a tag has been assigned to this call that I completed. Got the call result, got the tag, and if I'd entered a note or chosen a preformed note, let's go ahead and choose one of the preformed notes and we'll apply it. This is an example note. So we've got the note, so we've got the result, we chose no answer. We've got the tag we chose, maybe, and then we've got our canned note that we chose. At this point, we're going to click done at the upper top right. So if we hit done at this point at call summary, you'll see Telepatriot takes us back, and you'll see our progress bar is still at 0 out of 3 because we chose no answer. So they'll go back in the queue, but you did get to see how we apply tags and make notes for that particular call, even though we chose no answer. So he's still back in the queue, that person. All right. So we're back to the first screen of the calling screen. At this point, it presents you with the next person to be called. So we see that we have Cindy down here now that we could pick up the phone and call her. At this point, I think I will call this person and show you how it works in a normal flow, just to show you again. And remember, while the phone is connected, I will not be able to, you will not hear me. The Zoom will turn off the sound. But let's just try one more and show you what it looks like. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so it's jumping us all around. Obviously, I had a call from fellow team member Bob Betts while I'm recording this, so that's good. That's good to show you. And also, Telepatriot dumped me back at this screen, so we can always go back in, or COSAction dumped me back. All right, so now we're back at Cindy. So we're at call result because Telepatriot knows that I hung up the phone. So when I navigated back, I'm back at Cindy, and it wants to know what was the call result. So we're going to enter no answer, and I guess it was Cindy who we called last time, so it's maybe, and we're going to pick a pre-canned note and we're going to apply it. All right, now we're going to go to done. Some missions include the ability to send follow-up emails and texts. Actually, most missions will include the ability to send a follow-up email or a text right from the person. But once you complete the call, you will have to navigate to where you can do that. So let's say we just completed this call with, let's close this because we're obviously, again, we're at the next person to be called because we entered our call result and we finished. Well, let's close this. We're going to get out of there. Now we're back at the main Telepatriot Teams screen. If we now, at this point, we navigate to history, which is at the top, Teams, Parked in History, you'll see that here are the history of the calls that I have made in the last 14 days for the different missions. Mostly recording this training mission is the most of the calls that I've made. All right, so if we navigate back to history, we can actually go to the person that we just called, and if we need to do a follow-up, we can scroll down. And again, this is because Cindy's been being used for training purposes, so we have all these different notes in here. So we can add a note, or we can add something special that we thought we needed to mention that we didn't while the call, before we closed out the call, or we can add follow-up. All right, at this point, the follow-up screen comes up, which allows you really two options. You see three there, but one is none, the other is email, and the other is text message. To send either an email or a text, just click the add follow-up. All right, we already did that. Tap the button to select which one you want to send. All right, let's just choose email. All right, at this point, we again have the option to put in a preformed email, or we can actually type our email in subject. So let's just hit preformed, and you'll see that we only have one option here, and fills in the subject line, and it also fills in a body of a body for the email in this case. All right, so once we have the email the way we want it, we're going to hit save in the top right. You'll see an email has been set up and is ready to send. All right, let's hit this save. All right, so it's going to the iPhone email system. A couple of things on the screen, pretty important. You can, from this point, you can send with the blue arrow button. You can just send it as is. But you'll see my default for my phone is my work email. If that is okay with you and you want to send it from your work email, or you only have one email and that's what you're sending it from, that's fine. If you have multiple emails, including if you do have a COSAction email, you might want to send it from that, but it's not necessary. You can send it from any email you want. But you'll see you can actually change your email, who you're sending it from, by clicking on the from. I can actually scroll through and choose one of my probably too many emails that I have. And because I do have a COSAction email, I would choose that. So that's the email it's going to come from when I do send this. And if I were to hit send, it would go to this Maryland testing email. But I don't know that that email definitely exists, and I'm not sure I actually want to send this. But if I hit that blue arrow, it would actually be sent, and it would be sent from the email that I chose. So I'm going to hit cancel out of that, and I'm going to delete the draft. And I'm going to cancel back out of that because I didn't actually send the email. But if there was a follow-up email, that's where it would be. At this point, we would go back to Telepatriot, and we're still in history. We could go back to Teams, and you could jump right back into the mission that you're doing, or any of the missions that you are part of, and you may be part of multiple missions. But we would go back in here, and again, we're back at this training, the MDTP training team mission, and we have our next user that needs to be called. The three dots are the script that we would find. We can open it with the three dots. We can close it with the three dots. We have our progress bar, and we can go through the entire process again. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and being willing to watch this iPhone Telepatriot training session. Really appreciate all the Convention of States Action volunteers out there. Any questions, get in touch with your state team. Be very happy to answer them. And thank you so much for offering to be a Telepatriot for Convention of States.